Brace yourself for a burst of color and creativity. With Punxsutawney Phil predicting 6 more weeks of winter, I'm taking matters into my own hands. I'm breaking out my brightest fabrics and my most playful indie pattern books to chase away the winter blues. Join me this February as I sew my way to brighter and warmer days. Keep watching to see what I've got planned. Hi, I'm Tony, and this is So Lounge. I'm super excited we're hanging out together today. And I'm super excited to be sharing my February sewing plans with you. So I've been trying to figure out what I wanted to do in February, and it's been kind of cold and dreary all week and rainy, and I've just kind of been feeling down, and I thought, you know what? Colorful fabrics always make me feel better, and since it's pretty much winter everywhere right now, how about sewing some bright, colorful indie patterns and getting ready for spring and just getting into that mindset instead of, letting the winter blues take over. The first fabric I want to share is this beautiful lotus leaf Cafe Facet fabric. It's 100% cotton. It is actually a quilting cotton, but I just feel like it can't live up to its full potential if it's cut into tiny squares. And I think it would be much better suited for clothing. My idea for this fabric has been to use my Japanese pattern book. This is the Nani Sewing Studio book. If you're not familiar, Nani is a Japanese watercolor artist and designer. She makes these beautiful fabrics, and this is a book of patterns showcasing her designs, and they're kind of boxy. And the good thing about that is Japanese pattern books tend to have tiny patterns, so since most of these designs are oversized, they will fit me. So I'm excited about that. The dress that I want to make is a cocoon dress. So it looks a lot like a circle with some holes for your arms and your legs. And I actually had started patterning this out. You can see it right back there, except I was using newsprint paper instead of like more of a heavyweight tracing paper. And I put on the wrong size seam allowance and I didn't transfer the marks. And so I have to go back and either redo that one or just trace out a new one from the book. Thankfully, all of the pattern pieces are here, and this is not a super complicated pattern. So the finished sizing is kind of on the large size. It'll probably be about like twice my normal size, and I'm going to be making it in the small medium instead of the large extra large. It does recommend that you size down. So that's my plan for the first fabric. I'm not sure the order this is going to happen in, because if I just adjust the seam allowances on my current pattern, then I could probably get this done pretty quickly. But if I decide to remake it, then that might take a little bit longer. Thinking about it now, I'd love to know what you think. Should I remake this pattern or just trim the seam allowances and retransfer marks? So leave it in the comments below. All of the rest of my plans for February are coming from the same book. And I've mentioned this in my January, 2023 sewing adventure video. But in case you missed that, this is Lotta Jansdotter Everyday Style, and she is also a fabric artist. And if you haven't looked at this book, it's really fantastic. It's super inspiring. She has, the pictures are gorgeous. She has all like her journals of fabric designs. A lot of these projects are made with her fabrics, and they're all pretty basic and easy to wear. So nothing's too fitted. Everything's kind of loose and comfortable. And I've just been really inspired by this book since I got it for Christmas from Grandma and then read it. And so I'm very excited to start making some patterns from this book. And the funny thing is that the fabric on the dress on the cover is a Nani fabric. So I saw that after the fact and was like, oh, that's kind of funny that, I'm going to make that pattern and then that's the fabric she's using on the cover of her book. So because Mardi Gras is coming up in a few weeks, I decided I was going to make a skirt from this book. It is let's see if I can say this right, Tedra skirt. And it's kind of a kneeling skirt. There are pockets on the front. I'm not going to put pockets on it. Y'all know how I feel about pockets. But this kind of gives you a look. This is in a wool boucle. I'm going to be making it in Mardi Gras bead fabric that I also got from fabric.com a few years ago. I just thought this fabric would be really fun, and it's all the colors I like. And added bonus, since Mardi Gras is a Tuesday, I will be at court working, and I thought this would just be a fun way to celebrate. This fabric will look great with a black jacket and a solid colored top, so that is what I'm going to go with. And I will probably start making that skirt sooner rather than later. The good thing is that the pattern is very basic. It's an A-line skirt. You cut it out, or it's a bias skirt, bias A-line skirt. You cut it out flat, you sew up the side seams, put a zipper in one side seam, and then it has a ribbon band as the waist finish. And so that makes for super easy sewing. And, I'm a big fan of the easy sewing. The next thing I plan to make from the Everyday Style book is the Esme tunic, which you can see in a variety of pictures here. It is a knee-length style tunic, kind of A-line at the bottom, and it has 3/4 length sleeves. You can see it's shown in this geometric print, which is one of Lotta's designs. Now, I specifically bought this fabric because it was also a geometric print, and I thought it would make up really well in that tunic. This is a fabric I got from Nani back in January, and the fabric designer is actually an architect, which is also why it has that nice graphic sensibility. It is 100% cotton. I believe it's sateen. It feels a little bit softer. It's a little bit shinier than just the regular cotton. And because you might not be able to tell in the video, the background of the fabric is plum, and then it's got these gorgeous turquoise circles with accents of pink and green and a little bit of yellow. And I just think that's going to be really pretty to make up. It's knee length, so it's a good length to wear over leggings, or, once it gets a little bit warmer, I could wear it just as a straight dress. This is one of my most colorful fabrics in my fabric collection. I actually got this during a Japanese fabric haul at Leo 9 last year, and I've been holding on to it. I bought 3 yards because I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do with it, but the color in it is just fantastic. This is an Italia Naomi fabric. She was one of the original Japanese fabric designers who has since passed away, but they still make her fabrics, and I just absolutely love this. The little circles are actually representative of the shibori dyeing technique, which is a traditional Japanese dyeing method. And it's a print here, obviously, but that's kind of what it was inspired by, was her original shibori designs. So the dress that I'm planning to make is the Kiyomi dress, which you can see here. And it is an A-line dress. There's a lot of fullness at the bottom, which is then kind of gathered into the round neckline, which is a little bit high. And I just think it would look really great for this fabric, because when you go to the cutting layout down here, it's cut flat. And the challenge I've been having with this fabric since I bought it was that it's got this huge obvious diagonal, and most of the patterns I've got either don't recommend using obvious diagonals, or I really just don't want to destroy the look of the fabric by cutting it into all these pieces and then trying to match up the diagonal but not really being successful. So I think this is going to be a great pattern for this dress, just based on the simplicity of the design and also the way that it's put together. It's very easy. It has side seams. You kind of do like a bias binding for the neck, and then you're done. It's pretty easy. So I'm excited about that. And then the other thing is, and this is a theme that runs through all of the book, is that most of the designs are in different lengths. So, with the tunic, it's also in a short sleeve, shorter shirt version, and it's also in a longer caftan version. And then this specific Kiyomi dress, they have it in a top, they have it in the knee length dress, and then they also have it in the long, kind of more ankle length dress. So the cool thing is, I also think I'm going to try and make it in the top, which is just like a sleeveless kind of tank style that's a little bit full on the bottom, in this really pretty purpley um, waxed cotton. I bought this at the Quilt Museum in LaGrange, which is in Central Texas, and I can't remember like who designed it or any of the details like that, but it does say it's a veritable wax design from Holland, so it has this really nice stiffness to it. I am going to wash it and we'll see if some of that comes out, but I'm guessing it's wax, so it's probably not going to completely come out. But I just thought this is a cool design, which would also work with um, the cutting layout and just be kind of interesting. And the fun thing, crazy thing is, I've got this in 1 yard pieces. So I've got 2 1 yard pieces, which will be enough to make the top, thankfully. But I don't have any other of these interesting fabrics in enough yardage to make tops with them. But that is a definite possibility. Do you think I should make the top first or the dress first? I'd love to know what you think. I'm kind of back and forth between them, but this book has been so inspiring that I'm kind of like, oh, let's try it out. And here's the other thing. I'm going to test out the patterns using a mock-up with muslin because I'm not sure about the fit. The patterns are kind of, they're like general sizing. So, a large is a 38 to a 40.5 bust, and then the waist is 30 to 32, and then the hips is 41 to 43. So that's kind of my size range. And I just want to play around with it in muslin before I make it up in my fabrics. And since the muslin's pretty much the same for whatever the top part is, and then you just change the length, I feel like making it in the caftan and making in the Esme tunic, and then also in the Kiyomi top with the dress, like the top's the same as the dress, is just longer. So I can figure out the fit pretty easily. And I did buy some muslin at Joann's over the weekend because they were having a sale. So those are my February sewing plans. I've tried to put a lot of color in and do some interesting and creative designs with my 2 indie pattern book choices. I will leave links to these in the description below. I did get them on Amazon, and that's going to be the fun, colorful stuff coming up in February. So be sure to like and subscribe so you never miss a stitch. And if you've enjoyed this video, leave a comment below and let me know, and be sure to check out this one coming up next.